In this video, we're going to talk about what happens when you receive a 1099-C from a debt that was discharged in your bankruptcy. So stay tuned, bankruptcy bailout buddies. All right, and welcome to Bankruptcy Bailout. My name is Matt Berkus, Colorado bankruptcy and debt relief attorney, and remember, debt ruins lives, not bankruptcy. So it's tax time, and some of you who file bankruptcy are going to receive a 1099-C from one of your creditors that had their debt discharged in bankruptcy. So we're going to talk about what to do when that happens. So the first thing to do is not flip out because it's not that big a deal. However, first, let's talk about what the 1099-C means. So in the IRS code, if somebody forgives a debt, then the IRS will treat that debt, or that forgiven debt, as income to you. And that makes sense, right? Because originally you borrowed money with the intent to pay it back, but now you don't have to pay it back. That is part and parcel exactly the same as someone just paying you money for doing something, right? So the IRS is trying to get their piece of that forgiven debt. So when you file bankruptcy, you unload or have a ton of debt forgiven, and hence you may get a 1099-C. And 1099-C is just a reporting document that says how much debt was forgiven. And the concept here is called forgiven debt income, and then the associated tax that goes with it. I mean, if you actually were going to pay tax on that, it just adds to your adjusted gross income. However, that's not going to happen because you filed bankruptcy. So here's how you handle that 1099-C. Now, first thing is don't call the creditor trying to get them to rescind the 1099-C. There's no basis to do that. Okay? Now, the IRS code does not require the creditor to issue a 1099-C if the debt was discharged in bankruptcy. However, the IRS code doesn't prohibit the creditor from issuing a 1099-C either. So it seems most likely from a systems perspective or internally at the banks and the creditors, if they're forgiving, $1 billion of debt that year, it's just easier for the system to just issue 1099-Cs on all of it versus trying to parcel out this debt was discharged in bankruptcy, this debt was charged off, etc. They're just going to issue the 1099-C. Now, because even though they're not required to, it's not prohibited. Okay, so don't waste your time trying to call the creditor, flipping out, trying to get them to rescind the 1099-C. That doesn't work. So what do? Well, there is, like most things with the IRS, there's a form for this. And that form is Form 982. Again, 982. And it's a simple form for this process because all you're going to do is check the box labeled 1A. And the category under that box is for indebtedness discharge in a case under Title 11. That's what it's called. The bankruptcy code is Title 11. So when you do your taxes, and if you get a 1099-C from a creditor for forgiven debt, you want to fill out Form 982, check mark the box 1A for indebtedness discharge in Title 11, file it with your taxes, and you're done. There's nothing else you're going to have to do, and you do not have to include that forgiven debt as income on your taxes. So I hope this information helped. Stay tuned for my contact information. Again, my name is Matt Berkus, Colorado bankruptcy and debt relief attorney. I offer free initial phone consultations to the residents of Colorado for the purposes of bankruptcy. Best of luck to you.